Bit of a paedophile song, that one, isn't it? So the next task is something I've been working out on a bit of paper, is there are an awful lot of pipes that are going to have to go from the engine bay inside the car. And I've chosen to route it all through this part of the bulkhead here. Pipes that need to go through there. Fuel needs to come out to go to the carb. So I'm going to do that through one of these AN6 bulkhead fittings. Brake pipes. So brakes got to go from the master cylinder down through the bulkhead to the servo, which is now in the passenger footwell, then back out again, and then come back above the servo where it would have been, and then it can carry on around the front as normal. I'm running a single line system on this. To do that, I'm using these brake bulkhead fittings, which are rather nice. There'll be 2 of those, I think. And also I need an additional hole for the fire extinguisher suppression system. No idea how big that hole's going to be, so I probably won't drill it yet. I'll tell a lie, I'll drill a pilot hole. And then obviously when I get the system, I'll know I can do that. Also the servo, so I've got to take off from the inlet manifold, from the inlet manifold. That's then got to go through the bulkhead, because that's got to go to the servo. It's also probably a good idea to have an emergency hole where I have a grommet in it for the service crew. So, you know, we could bring it into the pits and all of a sudden they go, crap, the brake lines, sorry, the fuel line doesn't work, or we need to run an electric wire through or whatever. They know there's the hole that you can just waz it through, do the job, get the car going to go out onto the stage again, job done, and we can then put it back to normal or fix it after the rally. So that's my plan for today. Get this bit sorted out. You know what? This drill was a very good investment. I know it wasn't cheap, but it's become so handy. I don't know how I've coped without it. Just making some brackets up, that'll be a little job for today. Probably make those out of 3mm plate. Tack them up, see if it fits. It's got a bit of a, it's not much of a vibration, but just wondering if I could add something to pick up on the inner roll cage mount or something.
1 minute 37 seconds later.
There we go, that's the additional bracket welded on, and oh, it's good now. Much better. Probably would have helped. No, I'm happy with that. Good. Another job off the list. Well, it's not, because I've got to take it all to bits again and paint it, of course. So this is copper nickel brake pipe, 3/16. I've got a 25-foot roll. All of this came from Car Builder Solutions, and it literally came the next day during lockdown 3.0, so I'm well impressed with that. I've never used this before. I've only ever used your normal copper pipe. So I've got my trusty old flaring tool, so I'm going to be interested to see how this works. Good morning. It's Monday. It's almost 6 o'clock, look. I normally get up this time of day and do what I like to call motor mornings, working on engines, because engines is not one of my favourite things to do. So I treat it like a frog. And if you know about that time management type thing, eat your frog. But unfortunately, I forgot to order the parts. So instead, I'm going to be working on the brake system on the Rally Mini. The front end is all sorted, which is really good. All the way up to the brake bias valve. Now, my goal for this morning is to whip out this old seat. This is not the seat I'm going to use. Whip that seat out, have a bit of a tidy up, and I've got to work out, or I'm going to work out, where the pipe is going to route from here to the back of the car, where I need to drill a hole so that it can go to the rear subframe. So somewhere I need to find a hole, make a hole, decide where I'm going to make a hole. Anyway, that's the plan. I ground the edges of my tool off, made some hash marks into it, look, because it was round, but I like to put it in my vise. And even now though, maybe I just wasn't clamping it up enough. Boom, shanker! Look at that. Now that's quite a complex shape. And did I make it first attempt without any mistakes? Well, yes, but technically no, because I've done it 3 or 4 times with some scrap copper pipe. So, but that is the way that I do it. I really don't like having bends in the wrong place and then having to re-straighten it or make other bends. Right, there we go. Let's wazz it in the car. That's the way to do it. Just trying to connect up my servo. Took out the bung here, look, and look how thin that is. That's only got maybe sort of 2 or 3 threads in it, and I think it's because this has all been, ported out, because the bung that was in there was all cut, contoured, etc. Anyway, so this is the servo takeoff banjo that comes out of the normal manifold. I could cut this down so there's maybe 2 or 3 threads in it, but that was Loctited in place. Loctited, is that a real word? Anyway, so I could do the same, but I'm just wondering, is it feasible to have a dirty girt nut welded onto that, because this is obviously cast. Is that a thing? Oh, I suppose it'd have to be an alley nut, wouldn't it? Oh god, then it'd have to be machined. Oh. Is it doable? That's the question I'm asking. Look at that, it's just asking for an AN6 fitting to get welded on there. Quick release carve. tell you a story. I used to live in a place. Nowhere on the Isle of Wight is rough. There's no rough places on the Isle of Wight. But I lived, I bought this house, not this house, but I bought a house. And when I bought it, everyone went, "What, you live in there? Really? It's a dodgy area, that." And we went, "Is it really?" Seemed all right when every time we looked, went round, it seemed fine. Anyway, within a week of moving in, our house was on the front cover of the local newspaper, the County Press. Well, not our house in particular, but our next door neighbour was, because we were semi-detached, because the police were ramming the front door down on a drug raid. Oh well, the estate agent didn't tell us about that, did they? Lovely. Package that up, send it off. I do need to invest in my own TIG welder.
Later, in the void.
Wow, that didn't go as planned. I've got a bit of a brake fluid leak, and it seems to be coming out of the seal out of here. Blast. So anyway, I bought myself a new one, but I've gone for the screw type. Right, the brakes are bled. How cool is that? I didn't film it all, mainly because I was getting a little bit frustrated. Getting really frustrated because there was no fluid coming to the back at all. You know, we could bleed it out the front brakes, but not out the back. And I was thinking, have I bought a Duff unit? And it's just me. There's no instructions came with it. But look at that. It says, rotate, more pressure. Now in my head, as a driver, I was thinking that's more brake pressure towards the back wheels. So I had it wound all the way down. Makes sense in my head. Well, at the time it did. And nothing was happening. Not a drop of fluid, no air, nothing coming out the back. And I was starting to get a little bit angry. I was disconnecting pipes along the system, going, no, nothing's coming through. And in the end, we took this union off. Yeah, nothing coming out of there. And I think that's it. I've just bought a pile of shit, haven't I? Something that doesn't do anything, or it's seized up. Until I unwound it all the way, and then the fluid came out. So I've just got to remember that actually more pressure means probably more pressure on the spring valve that's inside there, which reduces the brake pressure to the back wheels. But now I know that it's not going to be an issue. But the good news is that when you actually wind that all the way up, it stops brake pressure coming out, brake fluid. That's pretty severe, isn't it? I can imagine I'm only going to use that in extreme conditions. But it's good to know that if you wind it right down, it will stop the brakes on the back. Here we go. Right, mission accomplished. That means I can put the wheels back on it. And now I can put the wheels back on it. It means I can move it around and do some other jobs. Woo! We're getting closer.